country as well as the globally. Panelists are with us. And I would like to invite my first panelist guest. But before that, I would like to take the permission, because my first panelist guest, as per the protocol, is always Dr. C.V. Anand Bose. But one of the panelists has requested
Sir, I request Dr. Bose to continue, sir.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so I would like to invite my first panelist guest, and he is Dr. C.V. Anand Bose, IAS. Dr. C.V. Anand Bose, IAS, is one-man expert commission on labor to prepare an action plan for the welfare and development of the workforce in the context of COVID-19. He is also the principal advisor, National Heritage Project. He was former head of the Disaster Management, Government of India, and Central Drought Relief Commissioner, Government of India. He was the Vice Chancellor of National Museum, University of Delhi. To his credit, 300 publications, including 45 books in English, Malayalam, and Hindi novels, short stories, and essays. 4 of his books have become bestsellers. One book of his on housing received prestigious the Sharjah International Book Fair Award. Dr. Bose is a housing expert, innovator, writer, orator, and visionary. The path-breaking institutions set up by him, such as Narmiti Kendra Building Center, District Tourism Council, and Habitat Alliance, have been replicated at the state, national, and global level. He was the head of the prestigious Supreme Court Committee on the Treasures of Sri Padmanabha Swami Temple. Dr. Bose addressed United Nations General Assembly and specialized sessions 5 times on various international issues. Dr. Bose is a recipient of 31 national and international awards, including United Nations Global Best Practice Award. He also received prestigious Jawaharlal Nehru Fellowship. Kerala government termed him Lord of Ideas. Former Prime Minister Mr. Manmohan Singh called him inspired civil servant, and our Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Modi called him Man of Ideas. Welcome, Dr. C.V. Anand Bose, on our show. Dr. Bose, you are very, you can say you are well versed with the Indian condition, being a very, very senior bureaucrat, and still you are associated as a principal advisor, as well as you are a one-man expert commissioner. And you are also expert in international conditions, because you have addressed the United Nations and you have visited many, many countries. And you are well aware about the conditions, about the Vatican, about Pope, as well as the conditions, Christians' conditions in India. Being from Kerala, where the sizable number of Christians are there, you are well aware about the challenges, about the problems, about the facilities, or whatsoever the Christians are having. Definitely, we would like to know from you your views on this very, very historical and important meeting between Pope and our Honorable Prime Minister. Dr. C.V. Anand Bose, IAS, please.
Thank you, Mr. Goel. The meeting between the Prime Minister and the Pontiff has more to it than meets the eye. It is not just a routine meeting between the head of a government and head of a state. As you know, this meeting is fraught with so many implications. Implied in this meeting is a meeting of minds, a meeting of cultures, a meeting of attitudes. In a post-COVID world, this meeting can forbid the beginning of a new era. You know, the world is now on crossroads. There is the ominous predictions that are made by the social scientists like Samuel Huntington, who speaks about the conflict of civilizations. He has given us the impression that a kind of fight to finish crisis is going to be there or looming large somewhere in the world. The world is certainly concerned about it. What is the way out? I think this meeting of minds with the Premier and the Pontiff is viewed in this background. I find in this meeting a deliberate attempt by two peace-loving icons of the world to come to grips with what Shakespeare would call the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. What are the topics which came up for discussions there? The pontiff and the premier did not meet just to say, hello, how are you? They share common concerns. And those common concerns are common to the whole of humanity. Who is the Pope? The Pope, of course, is on the throne of St. Peter. The Pope is the hope of the millions of people around the world. As we know, the largest civilization in the contemporary society is represented by 220 crores of people. The Pope represents them, and he is also the spiritual and temporal head of the Catholic community throughout the world. The representative of 220 crores of people who follow a particular faith, who believe in forgive and forget, who stand for the doctrines of Jesus Christ, who said even on the cross, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. That is a voice of sanity, which is being reflected by the Pope in Vatican. And on this side, we have the representative of the largest democracy in the world, the largest democracy, that is India, the second largest national population in the world. A meeting of minds, especially through these two important leaders, means a lot for the future of the world. Now we are at the crossroads, as we said. The pandemic has taught us that for the virus, all are equal. No one is more equal. We built up nuclear arsenals, and the virus has proved that it does not need a nuclear buildup to destroy this world. It can be destroyed by half a nucleus, and corona is nothing but less than half a nucleus. The world is realizing that we should have the priorities clear. That is why when the Pope and the Premier met, the topics of discussions were not politics. They never discussed politics at all. Though, of course, there can be a political implication for such meetings. What they discussed are the priorities of the world. Back to basics. That is what the two discussed. Poverty, as we all know, Pope Francis is known as a poor man's Pope. Why? Even when he came to assume charge as a pontiff of the Vatican, supreme head of the Catholics of the world, he had no qualms in carrying his own bag, such a symbol of simplicity. That is why he is endeared to the whole world, not only to the Christian community, as a poor man's Pope. He is not just a poor man's Pope, he is also the poor man's Pope. And here is India's Prime Minister. What is his background? He delights in saying that he was a chaiwala. A chaiwala becoming the Prime Minister of a country, meeting a noble soul who is endeared by all as a poor man's Pope. What are the cultures? What are the attitudes? What are the philosophies which they represent? Jesus was born in the manger. Lord Krishna was born in the prison cell. Both of them philosophically, spiritually, impress upon the whole world that blessed are the poor, for the kingdom of heaven is unto them. This biblical dictum is a gracious representation or restatement of the Sanatan Dharma, which claims, which believes in the Daridra Narayana. Therefore, these two symbols of simplicity, who represent Christ on one side and Krishna on the other side, they speak to the whole world how the ascent of the lowliest to the supreme heights of glory. This is what we need. In the first address to the parliamentary board of his party, or the ruling coalition in India, after the 2019 elections, the Prime Minister of India is on record about the need to mainstream the minorities. The minorities are part and parcel of the soul of India. India is secular, not because The term secular is there in the Constitution of India. India is secular because the mind of India is secular. India is secular. India is a crucible of many cultures. We received with both hands all the various religions which came to this field, this country. They have to coexist. They have to rise together. You know, this nation, this republic will rise or fall together with its poor men. The minorities are a part and parcel of India. And recently we heard the statement by the RSS Supremo that any Hindu who wants the Muslim to leave India is not a Hindu. He further stated in no unequivocal terms, he said the DNA of the Hindus and the Muslims is one. Therefore, India is on the path of secularism. India is on the path of humanism. And this is precisely what the Pope is also professing and practicing. Therefore, in a strife-driven world, which emerges in the post-COVID era, I am sure that both these concerns should come together. As Rudyard Kipling said, the East is East and the West is West, and never the twain shall meet. No. The Pope and the Premier has proved the twain shall meet. There are basics of issues which are to be addressed. That is what the two world leaders discussed. One was poverty. Both of them underscored the fact poverty anywhere is a threat to prosperity everywhere. Poverty anywhere is a threat to prosperity everywhere. The main concern in the discussions of these two world leaders has been how to eradicate poverty from the world. A hunger-free world is what causes a concern among people. And that is at the core of concerns of these two world leaders. So let's hope that in the post-COVID world, in the reconstruction and development of the post-COVID world, poverty will be at the core of activities. A hunger-free world is something which can come through the deliberations of these two celebrities, these two icons of peace and harmony in society. And the second point, they did not discuss the politics of climate. Both of them discussed the climate change. Both the Pope and the Prime Minister, they are aware of the fact that if the world has to survive, if humanity has to remain where it is, we should not tamper with climate. This earth has everything for man's needs, but not his greed. They both remembered the purport of what Mahatma Gandhi said. Yes, we have inherited this universe from, no, we have not inherited this universe from our forefathers. We have borrowed it from our children. Therefore, both the leaders lay emphasis on the fact that our prime concern is to protect our environment and act deliberately, decisively, without loss of time, to prevent the climate change to the extent possible. There are also issues of peace. Yes, we saw that in the post-COVID world, COVID has proved that the unseen COVID has proved that many of the seen institutions of the world have come to naught. Whereas the United Nations Organization has been reduced by a United Nations Organization. It is a toothless leviathan which cannot move by itself, leave alone moving others. And whereas the WHO, the World Health Organization, is a soulless wonder, seeking justification for its existence. There will be a reorganization of all these institutions in the post-COVID world. And these two leaders coming together, the attitudes which they represent, their concern for peace, their concern for the poor, their concern for environment, all these things will converge in the brave new world which is going to emerge in the post-COVID days. I do not see the visit of the Prime Minister and the Pope, the meeting of the Prime Minister and the Pope from a political angle. Well, it may have some political implications because the Pope has a turf, the Prime Minister has a turf, but there is no turf war between the two. Therefore, we are sure that in guarding the political turf throughout the world, both of them will see that peace, harmony will inform future activities. That is where I feel the importance of the visit to the Pope and the Premier. This is not an ordinary visit. This is going to be a game changer. This is going to define the parameters of the emerging new world. I do not want to take more of your time, but I would like to draw your attention to a scene in the Bible. Pharaoh has a dream, the emperor of Egypt. 7 fat cows emerge from the Nile, followed by 7 lean cows. The lean cows eat up the fat cows. Perplexed, Pharaoh asks his advisors for interpretation of the dream. The finest interpretation comes from Joseph. Joseph was in prison. He interprets the dream to mean the 7 fat cows represent 7 years of abundance, 7 years of prosperity. This will be followed by 7 years of famine. The lean cows represent the 7 years of famine. 7 years of famine is going to be there in Egypt very soon. The wise Pharaoh, he took counsel from Joseph, made him the prime minister. The prime minister takes immediate steps to have a buffer stock of grains. After 7 years, when the neighboring countries were hit by famine, the granaries of Egypt were overflowing with grain. To be forewarned is to be forearmed. I see a reflection of this now. To be forewarned is to be forearmed. The Pope and the Premier, the representative of the largest civilization in contemporary society, and the largest democratic joining together, coming together is beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success. The Pope and the Premier, they have come together. We are sure they'll keep together. They'll work together. The whole world is waiting for the proof of the pudding. Yes, there is a unity of minds here. And the world is going to be a changed place after some time, when peace dawns on the world and poverty is eliminated, when the climate is protected, when the poor has got a stay in an inclusive society, then we will say, we will find the meeting which these two world leaders had, what is its significance? Yes, it signifies what the poet dreamed. It signifies and it conveys, if winter comes, can spring be far behind? That is the message of this great meeting. If winter comes, can spring be far behind? Thank you very much.
If winter comes, can spring be far behind, says Dr. C.V. Anand Bose about this very, very important meeting of Pope and Prime Minister. And Dr. Bose has summarized this meeting in a very, very literary way or the factual way. What he says is, this is the meeting of mind. This is the lead, because both are absolute of peace, and our Prime Minister as well as the Pope. And he says that the both are, their background is a very, very humble background. And he also mentioned how when Pope has taken over, he was carrying his own briefcase. So he is called the Pope of poor. And similarly, our Prime Minister, who is from the background, and he himself says that he's a chaiwala earlier, and he himself mentioned that he's a Pradhan Sevak. So it clearly shows that this meeting is of those like-minded people who have seen the country world, and those who want to bring the world in a very, very peaceful manner. And according to Dr. C.V. Anand Bose, our Prime Minister's speech after the 2019 election for the parliamentary meeting, he mentioned very clearly that we have to bring the minorities in the mainstream. And even he has quoted about our RSS chief, that how he has mentioned that the Hindu who wants the Muslims to go to Pakistan is not a Hindu. And he even mentioned that the Hindu and Muslims DNAs are same. So according to Dr. C.V. Anand Bose, this meeting has nothing to do politically, but it is for the eradication of poverty, to have a peace and harmony in the world, and they discussed about the climate change. And he also, Dr. Bose, says that today the condition of the world is that major organization, the world, like United Nations organizations has become United Nations organization. And he also, Dr. Anand Bose also mentioned about WHO, and we all have seen how WHO could not deliver their role, what they were supposed to do. So this meeting is very, very important, because now realignment is taking place, and meeting with a Pope who is controlling, or who is the head of so many Catholics all over the world, and Prime Minister Mr. Modi, who is heading a second most populous democracy and the populous country of the world. So according to him, this meeting signifies a very, very important role to see in the future, which we are going to see after this meeting. But he also emphasized that no political draw to be taken out from this particular meeting, because they have not discussed anything political. And one thing I would like to add, this meeting was originally scheduled, as I told you earlier, for 20 minutes, but it went up to 1 hour. It clearly shows that both the leaders were talking in harmony. Their thoughts were in harmony, and that's why the meeting always extends. So thank you very much, Dr. C.V. Anand Bose, for giving your views. Now I would like to invite my next panelist guest. Again, my same question to Mr. Nambiar. Can you wait? Because as per
No,
protocol,
I will have to say no, sir. You know
yeah,
that
please give it to Mr. Nambiar.
Okay. Thank you very much, Father.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
very much.
Nambiar, all the best.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so as Father has given the permission, so now I would like to invite my next panelist guest, and he's Mr. P.K.D. Nambiar. Mr. P.K.D. Nambiar is an entrepreneur, marketing strategist, columnist, and a well-known political analyst. He is the MD and CEO of Flex Communications and a reputed Marcom agency in India, and founder of B Square Solutions, a software development company. He is a prominent face on national television, and he shares his on socio-political issues and business in the leading news channels. I will not name, because otherwise he will say that he has to go early. So almost all the leading channels in India, whether you term it's a Godi channel or Luchen's channel, whatsoever, he's appearing all. A known columnist, his articles and opinion pieces are regularly featured in all major national and regional medias, including all the top leading newspapers and the magazines. He is a powerful speaker and have addressed hundreds of social, political, business, and motivational programs. And some of his programs include the brand new "You Too Can Be an Entrepreneur, New Age Leadership." Mr. Nambiar is also connected with many social cultural organizations in various capacities for his exemplary work, both in business and social services. He received numerous rewards and awards. Again, if I will read, then he will say that time is short. But I will just say that yes, but no, if I will read, and the list is long. So he has received many awards. And welcome, Mr. P.K.D. Nambiar, on our show. Although you are always in a hurry, I know you are a very busy man. Mr. P.K.D. Nambiar, you represent the socio and political as well as business culture, and you always give your thoughts. You have seen how our Honorable Prime Minister met the Pope. There are lots of myths or lots of rumors are in the market. Somebody says this is nothing but to lure the Christians. Someone says this is because of the forthcoming 2 state elections of Goel and Manipur. And someone says, no, it is basically meeting is going to be very fruitful and advantageful, not only for the India, but the entire world. And you have already heard what Dr. C.V. Anand Bose IAS has mentioned. We would like to know your views on very, very historical and important meeting between our Honorable Prime Minister as well as the Pope. Mr. P.K.D. Nambiar, please.
Good morning, sir. Thank you so much for having me here again, and to the other co-panelists, and thank you so much. Once Mr. Bose speaks, I think there is nothing to speak further. That's really, I think he's such a wonderful orator, and I don't know, wordsmith, I would say. But I would say it's the very significance of these 2 leaders, world leaders meeting. They are, as Mr. Bose said, even as you said, It's basically the two world leaders whose significance is so powerful in the global arena today. A spiritual leader meeting one of the topmost world leader, the world's largest democracy meeting the world's largest spiritual leader, a saint meeting and another saint, two cultures, East meeting West, two cultures are meeting together. Sanatan Dharma, a person who in a way directly and indirectly represents the Sanatan Dharma, meeting the world's largest population or the world's largest spiritual leader, that is the Pope. So the significance is multi. So if you really look at from the point of view socio, cultural, religious, and political, two leaders when they meet, all of them comes together. Now, I'm not going by the merit of two individuals as a what is their how they come up and where they stand and etc. May not maybe Dr. Bose has already explained that in detail. But to me, the significance is not just for, as you said, it's a hyper local, that is like a Goa election or a Manipur election. I'm sorry, the Prime Minister of India is not to be is not the one who will travel to Vatican for a Goa election or for that matter to a Manipur election. That will be demeaning the position of both these leaders. And that is, as I said, if they both are globally the topmost leaders, and if we even refer such kind of people, maybe some opposition leaders can, but I think in a platform like us, we should not even think like that. But the most important part of this, that India as a society, whenever an Indian leader, or for that matter, when Prime Minister Modi, who showcase himself as a proud Hindu all the time, and if possible every time, meeting the Pope gives a clear feeling. It is not just it is something like the Vivekananda going and meeting the entire Western world and saying, the mother of all religions, I'm representing the mother of all religions. Even today, I feel the same, that when Prime Minister Modi going and meeting the Pope means India, means it's a hub of every religion. As Dr. Bose said, secularism is not something which is written only in our constitution, but it's a mindset of every Indian. So he carries that mindset to go and meet the Pope, and exchanging ideas of what both these cultures can signify and bring to the world for a newer world, for a better world, where there is no poverty, there is no discrimination, where there is no poor and rich, everything is available for everybody, everyone is treated similar, and the mode of Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam is truly practiced. I believe that why that there is so much of a discussion about these two people meet is also because of we are a highly political society. We have there is a culture in India, and that to make everything politicized. So of course the Modi has gone and met the Pope only for the political purposes. He wanted to have a photo opportunity. He has no reason, but he just wanted to try to say that I'm the Hindu leader, I'm equal to the Pope. So many discussions have been happening and so many people were talking. But the beauty is that India as a culture, India as the ancient civilization is meeting the Pope means too much. India is a place where it's a world guru. A world guru is the one which will teach and preach and practice and showcase to the world how the world should be. And this has been the history of India for centuries altogether. And the Pope understands the significance of India. Pope understands today as a global power, how India is emerging. India is emerging not only just as a military power. India is not only just emerging as a superpower from the point of view of number of population and the middle class and the upper middle class, how they are coming up. India is also becoming once again, a knowledge superpower. So a knowledge superpower is getting all the world's attention. And this also gives to me, it gives me a feeling the meeting of these two leaders are also underlining the very position of India as a super spiritual is one. So in a way, when Mr. Modi meets the Pope, it also gives a feeling that two mindsets can, two religious thought process can, two ideas can, all will be leading to the one that is the truth. And I think exchanging these ideas time and again is the art of reaching to that one. I think that also, this meeting also signifies this particular aspect of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, or Ekam, the truth is one, is the most important thing which I could take. Another aspect is that how India looks to the world. Of course, as you said in your initial comment, that there is some kind of a speculation or some kind of a messaging has been going around ever since Mr. Modi came into power in 2014 onwards, that the minorities, religious minorities, are not safe in India. Whereas it is the other way around. If you really look at it, any fact check if you do, the religious minorities have been in the greatest of their, maybe I don't know, because psychologically they may have been taken aback because of this constant messaging that you are not safe, you are not safe, you may have to go to Pakistan, you may have to go to some other place, and etc. But the truth is that India's minorities have been the most secured anywhere, in comparison to anywhere in the world, and they have been treated. And rather, this may be the only country, and I'm truly saying you this, that this may be the only country where the minorities are treated up. They have been given more and more benefit than the majority. In sometimes I say that whenever I have shows wherein I talk about the minorities and the majorities, I say that the majorities have been treated like a minority in India. So I would say that the religious minorities in India this also gives a message that very clearly that for us, even every minority community, every belief system, every thought process is being treated at par in the same spirit as we as Hindu society has always been secular and believe in the truth is one philosophy. I think many more things can be, of course, two world leaders meet, there will be political discussion, or even their normal discussions could even have some kind of political mileage after all. But predominantly, and it's also on the background of the climate change discussion. Of course, they did discuss about the climate part and etc. But to me, it gives a message that we are for everyone. To me, it gives a message that we don't discriminate. And we don't have that, we have a history of bringing together everybody. We have a history of bringing not only to the people, but to the ideas, give enough space for each and every ideas to come, grow and thrive here. That has been the philosophy of India. That has been the idea of India as a whole. And this has been clearly communicated. If you have heard that two bite of both the people talking to each other, clearly gives that message. The East meeting West, the two saints meeting together, two world leaders meeting each other, two ideas meeting each other. I think that is what happened. The significance of this will be much more important as in the next year when the Pope comes to India. I think I'm really looking forward for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nambia, for giving your views. And he very clearly says saint meeting saint, and India means hub of all religions. And he says because India is a knowledge superpower, so meeting is not about the political, not about Goa or Manipur elections. It is basically two like-minded people, two heads are meeting each other for the peace, harmony, eradication of poverty, climate, and all those things which are required to improvise the global situation. And he says that India is a better place now for the minorities, although there is lots of hammering on the social media since the day when Prime Minister Mr. Modi has taken over, that the minorities are not safe. But according to Mr. PKD Nambiar, now the minorities are far better positioned than the earlier time. And he says India is the only country in the world who has opened their both the hands and welcome everyone, which is one of the oldest civilization also. Thank you very much, Mr. PKD Nambiar. I know that you are going to leave, but before that, I would like to ask one question to you. Although
Please.
you have tried your best to avoid that, but again, I am asking you, do you think this visit will impact on the future political development in India?
So India, as I said, Mr. Goel, that everything in India is politicized because we are a democracy and we always believe in the debate and discussions and as a part of our daily discourse. So the politics is there in every one of us. So there will be, of course, anything and everything which we do will have some kind of a political impact. But does that mean that the whole purpose of these two, the meeting is all about politics? No. So it has very, from the point of view of BJP, for an example, it is very insignificant. For an example, the Kerala, which do not have an election coming up anytime soon, in maybe in another till next 3 years, and which is not a very, very significant state for BJP. BJP is powerful, but it is not. And it is undermining the position of Prime Minister when he goes and meet a global leader, and that too like a Pope, that it has got some kind of a politics, it's for the political mileage. So I am saying politics is always there because, as I said, a political leader meet a spiritual guru also will feel politics. The reason is that we have a culture nowadays, like for an example, Rahul Gandhi. Just to give you an example, in Aam Aadmi Party leader, I mean Arvind Kejriwal. Now he is going to temple. He went to Ayodhya and did Aarti. He came back to Delhi and did created a mini structure of a temporary structure of Ayodhya. I tutored him and asked him that why are you making a temporary structure? Why don't you make a original similar kind of a temple in Delhi? So if at all, so if you don't want it to politicize, rather than spending 4 or 5 crore rupees in that, you do one thing, you take the lead and create a temple. So the politics is there in anything and everything we do as a part of our discourse. But it will be undermining the position of the Prime Minister. It will be an insult to a great leader like Mr. Modi, who command not only a great respect in India, but across the world. I mean, you have seen that how he's been greeted by the world leaders, even in the G20 summit and all. I think it is every hug what he gives or what he gets. It is not only for Mr. Modi, it is for every Indian. So when Mr. Modi is being respected, that means every Indian is respected. When Mr. Modi is being taken very seriously, that means every Indian and Indian's voice is being taken seriously. So I think there is no politics. There is nothing to be discussed about the politics in it, in the domestic. And Mr. Modi had no reason to think of a domestic politics when he goes and meet the Pope. And the people like us should avoid even discussing the politics in it. The reason being, slowly, then it becomes a momentum. In the next year, when the Pope comes, he will say that it is a part of another bigger political marketing.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. PKD Nambiar, for giving your views, very strong views, as well as your time you have given. Thank you very much. I'm sure that next time you will give more time with
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. My apologies. I have a board meeting. That is the only reason.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
We'll meet afterwards.
Absolutely.
Now,
Absolutely.
Now I would like to invite my next panelist guest, and he is Reverend Father Robbie Kanchanechira, CMI. He is the NGO representative of United Nations. Father Robbie is the director of Chavra Cultural Center at present in New Delhi. Father Robbie is a postgraduate in English literature from MG University, Kottayam. He completed his MPhil and is currently pursuing his PhD in English literature. Father Robbie has always been involved with the needs of communities, taking a keen interest in issues faced by the young and young at heart. Father Robbie is very active in the socio-cultural sphere and cares for the needy remotely and on digital platforms. Father Robbie holds the position of Secretary General of World Fellowship of Interreligious Councils, WFIRC. Father Robbie has presented papers on interreligious topics in the international conferences held at Oxford, Birmingham, Horsham, UK, London, Austria, Doha, Qatar, UAE, Germany, Rome, and Belgium. Father Robbie's life has always been devoted to the poor and downtrodden. Empowerment of auto taxi drivers in Munnar town was yet another of his revolutionary initiatives, wherein drivers were giving regular training in spoken English, grooming, and etiquette. This in turn helped auto and taxi drivers adopt a positive attitude towards passengers, especially tourists, and enhance their earnings as well. Welcome, Father Robbie, on our show. Father Robbie, you have heard what Dr. C.V. Anand Bose, IAS, as well as Mr. P.K.D. Nambiar has given their views. And both are very, very positive about this meeting. And they are very clear that this meeting has nothing to do with politics in India. And they both emphasize that being a spiritual guru and one is a political guru, the leader or the leader of the very big, the topmost democratic country, and the other is the leader of the head of the the biggest religious sect. So they both are emphasizing that this meeting is for climate change, poverty eradication, and peace in the world. Now, you being the someone who is in the same sect, you are also the Masiha for the poor. And as Dr. C.V. Anand Bose has mentioned about the Pope is the Pope for poor, you are also doing lots of work, Father, for the poor, as well as you have very thorough knowledge about the international religious topics and other things, where you have presented your papers across almost the world. Definitely, we would like to know your views on this very historical meeting where our Honorable Prime Minister met the religious head of Vatican, the Pope. Father Robbie, please.
Goel ji, thank you so much for giving me the space here in this discussion. And I really appreciate your enthusiasm and energetic way of presentation of topics every day. And I was eagerly listening our C.V. Anand Bose ji and Nambiar ji and their different views. And both of them explained their concepts regarding this visit. It's really historical. As I'm not repeating what they have already said here, but we cannot say no to the importance of the great significance of these two political as well as cultural, religious leaders of the world. As today's world eagerly looking after their concerns, their opinions of different issues. And of course, they might have discussed different topics, as you have said, that regarding the eradication of poverty and regarding the safer zone or the safety of the minorities in India and the peace and harmony of the entire world. And all these topics might have been discussed among their dialogue. And as you said, this discussion was fixed 20-25 minutes earlier, and it belonged to 1 hour and a half hours. And I was just amazed to see that. And there I find one thing, that the official discussions, if we have gone for an official discussions, we will stop it at the end of the particular time which is fixed for that, and we'll say bye and we'll go. And see, might be it started with an official, and later the officiality might have gone and they have started talking and discussing with their hearts. And the beginning of the discussion of the heart has seen in the first look poster of their mutual embrace and their mutual hugs. And that itself shows that a difference. I think just one day back, Pope met our American president, it seems. And these two visits, two meetings, and both discussed. And first one was discussed as only an official, political, or such kind of meeting. And the second one was discussed in the entire world, that not only a political meeting, but it's a meeting for the welfare of the entire world. And you know that our Honorable Prime Minister has invited Pope to India, and he has accepted, it seems, the invitation also. And this meeting is successful. In a way, we can say that, and it will be completed only after his visit to India, and which will empower the entire political, or might be political or cultural, religious scenario of India. And as we all know that there have been 3 papal visits in India prior to this upcoming visit. The first Pope to visit India was Pope Paul VI, who visited Mumbai in 1964 to attend the International Eucharistic Congress. Then Pope John Paul II visited several places in India, especially Kerala, and he declared Saint Kuriakose Elias Chavara and Saint Alphonse as Venerable One at that time. And that was in 1986. And again, the Pope's visit was there on November 1999 in India. And I'm really happy to say that Chavara Culture Center, Delhi, is named after the Saint Kuriakose Elias Chavara, who pioneered the dialoguing in Kerala. Means the social dialoguing, the cultural dialoguing, the interreligious dialoguing. And he only started the schools which has accepted everyone irrespective of caste and creed. That was in 1986, the first Sanskrit school in Kerala, in Christian arena. That was in Malanam. And later we find that when he was establishing the schools attached to each church with the help of the then Archbishop Bernardinos Beccinelli, he was insisting every priest to start Sanskrit language learning, teaching in the particular schools. That was the beginning of a cultural transformation in Kerala. And Chavara Culture Center Delhi is always for such kind of values, propagating this kind of values of Saint Kuriakose Elias Chavara and the entire Catholic Church. And the meeting with Narendra Modi ji and Pope, I think this is more spiritual, cultural than the political meeting. As if I've discussed and asked to the other panelists whether it will result in Indian politics. I don't expect much change in the concept of Christians after this meeting with our nation. Celebrating diversity means celebrating Bharat. And as we all know that each religion is for the individual realization, the realizing the ultimate truth as God. And each religion has to help the believers to do that. And each religion has to help the other religions also to do the same. And so I strongly believe that this meeting is helping the entire nation to think about the bonds that unite us more than that of the barriers that separate us. And there are a lot of elements which we can, when we consider this meeting is historical and significant. And it will energize, it will empower the bonds, the positive vibes which unite the entire India, irrespective of caste, religion, and politics, rather than the barriers which is set, which separate the religion, and the culture. And I don't think there will be much clash in this level. And it will empower the entire Christians in India after the visit of the Pope here. For more safer zone, they consider that some of them in some area of India, they feel that they are insecure. Since the majority of the people, as Pope said in this meeting, the majority should take care of the minorities. That was the great concern of Pope. The majority should take care of the minorities. And so we have to accept each other, and the acceptance should lead to respecting the other. And then ultimately we will be celebrating each other. And India was celebrating the different cultures all through these ages. And the entire Christians in our nation is proud to be Indians first, then only they are Christians. Because we all are born and brought up here in India, and we are really proud to be Indians. And we really appreciate the culture, the diversified culture of India. And we are always for the national interest and for working for the national integration. And as you know that in India, we have more than 56,000 education institutions all over India. The entire Christianity in India is, I think it's one of the leading educational agency also in India. And all the education institutions, I do believe that that is a cultural center, the cultural center which promotes peace and harmony in the society and always standing for the national integration and of national interest. So my concept is that the visit of our Honorable Prime Minister to our Pope Francis, the head of the entire Christianity in this world, as our C.V. Anandabose just said that, and as we all know that the biggest faithful of the entire humanity, and that will mark in the conceptual changes in the entire world, and that will empower the people to celebrate the other faith without losing one's own faith. As our Nambiarji said that, as a proud Hindu, our Prime Minister visited the proud Christian and the head of the Christian kingdom of the world. And that will empower the Christians in the entire world to celebrate the other without losing their faith. And that will empower the entire people in this world to uphold the particular religion without hurting the others, And that will empower the entire people in India to appreciate and celebrate the differences without giving up their uniqueness. So I think we have to find meaning, and we have to find happiness and joy in such kind of meetings of minds, meeting of heart, meeting of different cultures. And I pray that let it result in positive vibes, and which will empower the peace and harmony concepts of the world. Let all people in this world live peacefully, and let all people in this world, those downtrodden people, let them be taken care of. And this entire Christianity in this country which is a leading charitable organization, in another way you can say that. Let it continue its charitable work, which embraces the entire people, irrespective of caste and creed. Let it continue its charitable work. Let it be a charitable unit of our nation, it seems. So I do believe that the visit, the great visit, and the upcoming visit of Pope in India, that will result very positive vibes, really positive vibes in India, and it will change the attitude of the people in India, and it will change the conceptual level of the people in India. So it will become a beginning of a new era. And though there are so many predictions regarding the political vibes or different types of concepts, I do believe that more than that of any political interactions or anything, it will create a more ample atmosphere in India for its secular values. And so I do believe that it must be like that. It should be like that. So meetings like this type of interactions will energize the real spirit of that kind of meetings. And it should enliven in each Indian that we have to celebrate the other. Each religious people have to live here without any fear of the other. And if I am afraid of anyone, how can I live here peacefully? And if you have a strong faith, that's my question. If one has a strong faith in one's own religion, how can he or she make the other afraid of him? And a strong believer cannot do that. That's my concept. And so I do believe that why should I be afraid of anyone living in India? Why should I make anyone afraid of me? And that is not the concept of India, which embraces every religion and every culture. And the real soul of India is in this concept, it seems, celebrating the other, irrespective of religion and caste. And let us celebrate the differences and let us celebrate the Bharat. As we are celebrating the 75th independence of our nation and celebrating the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. And let it be concluded with the visit of Pope. That's my dream. And let there be a kind of rejuvenation in entire nation that to promote and protect the secular values of our nation. So thank you, Goelji, for giving such a beautiful opportunity and such a beautiful platform for expressing my concern.
Thank you very much, Father Robbie. And Father Robbie has given all the aspects of this meeting. But a very important, I will just highlight one or two aspects. What he says, that the body language, the way Prime Minister Modi as well as the Pope hugs each other. They met with the original meeting schedule was for 20 minutes and lingered for more than 1 hour. It clearly shows that both have very common things and they discussed everything for concern for the poor, for the world, for the eradication of poverty, for the climate, etc. And he has also mentioned, Father Robbie has also mentioned that the body language which was seen prior to this meeting was with President Biden of USA, which was not that warm as it was shown in our Prime Minister's thing. So he says it is very, very clear about this. Father Robbie says that we are very clear that this meeting has nothing to do with the politics. It is basically to improvise the relationships, to showcase to the world that in India, all religions are being respected. And Father Robbie says that we believe that this is our country and we do work for our country, and every Christian believes in that. And he says no political concerns and motive to be attached with this. And he also mentioned that this will be more beneficial the day the Pope will be visiting India. And he has given the last time when the Pope has come. And I can only mention in 1986, Pope also visited Bangalore, where I am right now. And I have seen that place, that how the Pope gave the speech. They have maintained that particular platform, and a huge ground where lakhs and lakhs people attended the Pope visit. So basically, this visit is a change of culture, religion, and all those things for the beneficiality of all the humanities. And Father Robbie has mentioned how they are working. The Christians are working for the development of the country, whether it is in the education sector or the health sector. And yes, I can also say that when we were small, we always know two things, that in education, the convent schools or those schools run by the Christian community, as well as the hospitals, all the medical facilities, either from the civil hospital or the other hospital should be always in many districts are run by the Christian community. So they are always doing the charity. And he says we would like to do the charity. We would like to continue the charity the way we are doing it. And that's why this meeting is very, very significant in that aspect. Thank you very much, Father Robbie, for giving your very, very strong views. Now, my question to you is, you have mentioned about although everything, but again, I have to ask, do you think this visit will have implications in India as well as globally? Because it is seen that once the huge, one of the biggest democracy of the world, and meeting with the head of a religious, one of the biggest sect in the world, is going to create ripple, not only in India, but abroad also. Because many forces, those who are not interested that the country, that India should develop. Secondly, many people in India and abroad never wanted that there should be a peace and harmony among all the religions. And this particular visit definitely, or the meeting will definitely cement that harmony. And as you have mentioned in your talk right now, that India is celebrating 75th Amrotsav of Azadi. Yes, and at this time, meeting of Pope will definitely give a message. But do you think this will create some implications or not?
Surely, Goelji, see, when two friends, when they stand together, when others see that they are friends, normally the element of that friendship, that atmosphere, that will have its own resonance, no? Don't you think so? Means when two friends stand together and people see that their warmth, their expressions, their concerns, their way of their behavior, their way of their talking, and if it is impressive to the other, the mind of society is that just to appreciate that. And as I told you, when we leave that officiality and when we start with the heart, speaking with the heart, the heart-to-heart move, that has another resonance. Means without having mutual respect, without having mutual love, we cannot have that kind of a talk. That's my assessment. And see, only because, see, since Modiji is a proud Hindu, I strongly believe that a man, that's why I told you that, one who has a strong faith in his own religion, he cannot but respect the other. Those who do not have strong faith in their own religion will try to disturb the other, or try to destroy or eliminate the other. And Modiji, being a strong Hindu, he can respect the other because he is different from him. And we know that for Francis, a strong believer of Christ, and me too. And see, if he has conviction in his faith, why should he be afraid of another? So that both people, a strong, faithful people, they could respect, they could exchange that feeling of respect, and which became the celebration of goodness innate in them. That is what the entire world is celebrating now. That the resonance of that celebration has reached Bharat also, and that will reach the nook and corners of India. I know that. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
So that will have, if the Pope comes India next year, and we will have a celebrative reception, and the mutual acceptance will be shared or celebrated. It will have its own very clear implications later. That will I assure you.
Okay. But Father, there are two more issues which are become very controversial recently. The controversial is one issue. The issue is the Karnataka government recently asked the district authorities to furnish the detailed report of number of authorized and unauthorized churches and Christian priests. Now, the survey is on. Don't you think one side, and this Karnataka is a BJP government, the BJP government is doing, and it's been opposed by the Christian associations and the bishops and the priests here. And they said it is nothing but that violation of our privacy, and to preach our to pray of our or follow.
Well, G, I think your connection has some problem, it seems.
Father Robbie, are you there?
Yeah,
I'm
I'm here. Yeah, I think your connection has some problems.
Yes. Please go ahead.
See, Goel Ji, I don't like to believe. I don't like to believe that BJP is against minorities. I don't like to believe. But recent developments in certain part of our nation is compelling the entire Christian world in this country to suspect that, not my terms which I am using, to suspect that certain areas are not safe. Their fundamental rights are being violated. See, in India, I assure you that the Catholic people or Catholic CBCI or the different part of the states CBCI and its allied organizations, we are not for forceful conversion. It's I think Karnataka government has implemented I think they are trying to implement the law of anti-conversion bill or pass the anti-conversion bill in the parliament, it seems. See, the fundamental right of every Indian is to propagate his faith and to live in that faith without having any kind of fear in this country. And if that is being violated, that should be taken care of. The second thing is that the Catholic Bishop Conference of India or the entire Christians in this country is not for forceful conversion. We have never opting that kind of options for forceful conversion. And conversion of mind and conversion by force that's something different. You know that there are conversions happening in every part of the nation in different ways. See, if I have a faith, if I'm strong enough to propagate that one, if someone is convinced in that, using his freedom, not without any compulsion, if he is going for that, I think our constitution allows that. But the forceful conversion, if it happens, and I don't think that must be encouraged. That must be encouraged. And you have seen that, and as you said that, in India, as I have told you, that more than 56,000 education institutions are run by Catholics and mainly Catholics and other denominations of Christians. As I told you, there is always stand for national integration. And we CMIs, our education institutions, including Christ University, Bangalore, and now more than 25,000 children are there in Christ University campus. in different campuses, it seems. And our education institutions always promote secularism, respecting other religions, empowering the children. You know that how many nationalities are represented in our institutions, how many thousands of children from different religions having education in our institutions, and they are being taught to respect the other religion and to have a strong faith in their own religion. As if Mother Teresa said, her activities empower a Hindu to be a better Hindu, a Muslim to be a better Muslim, a Christian to be a better Christian, and an Indian to be a better Indian, who can empower, who can embrace the entire Indians as his brothers and sisters.
Okay, thank you, Father, giving your very, very clear views. And you have mentioned that there's a forcible and the difference between forcible and this thing, voluntary conversion.
Yeah,
But still, this type of order passed by the government, do you agree and you support this order, or do you think that this type of order will create disharmony among the religious in our society?
See, Goel ji, if there is forcible conversion or conversion using some other ways also, you understand me? And that should be controlled and that should be stopped. Because everyone has his own freedom to select their own faith and to live in that faith. And if someone says that, and mine is a better religion, and you have to come to my religion, and if he uses force, that must be stopped. There's no doubt in that. But if one has voluntarily accepting another religion, how can a government can stop that? If any law, if someone thinks that if a law can prohibit that kind of voluntary conversion, I don't think that will will be.
Okay, thank you, Father. Now my question is again political. The common view, no, not common means few of the people are raising this question. They says our Honorable Prime Minister visited Bangladesh before West Bengal election, because it's a Bengal and West Bengal and Bangladesh is of Bengalis. Now there are two states. The 5 states elections are going to be held in March or so, out of which 2 states are predominantly by having majority, not majority, but sizable number of Christians. Like Goa is more than 25% Christians are there. And Manipur is almost equal at par with the Hindus, about 41.29% in Manipur. Now, the views are that our Honorable Prime Minister meeting with Pope has nothing to do with peace, nothing to do with the climate. It is basically to lure, although both earlier panelists have discarded this theory, but the view is that our Prime Minister has not visited for last 7 years to any of this, to the Vatican. Now he is visiting because of the forthcoming state election. What are your views about this, Father?
See, actually, he hasn't. I think he hasn't gone for just for a visit to say hi to Pope in Rome. He was attending another meeting as part of attending an international meeting which is held in Rome. He went to Rome, it seems, and as Nambiarji and Bose sir implicated that, I don't want to demoralize or delimit the importance of that kind of meeting to a particular state election. I don't demoralize Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. He will go for that one. I don't think so. And if That should, I don't think that would be a motive of that kind of visit. And if that would have been the purpose, it would not have prolonged to more than 1 hour. Understand? It would not have prolonged. They would have talked the matter of fact and say hi to, bye to them. And then, so more than that. I don't know exactly what they have talked, and you also don't know that exactly what they have talked. But the subjects were almost common, especially, and the Pope has appreciated the tolerance and the all-embracing nature of our nation, and the way we have supported the COVID warriors in India. And Pope has mentioned that as a message, he said that the majority should take care of the minority in a country, as if in a family, as we are saying that India, our basic element concept is Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam. We are one family, and in one family, the elders will always take care of the youngsters, as if the majority should take care of the minorities. And then it will really a model country in the world, the entire world, and the religious tolerance and all other things. So I don't think if this meeting has that kind of a goal or an objective, that would not have result in that kind of warmth which created the entire world.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Father Robbie, for giving your views. And viewers, you have seen different views of the top of I may say that those who are expert in this particular field, those who have seen their life, and they are very, very clear that this historical meeting of our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, with the Pope has nothing to do with the politics. It is basically for the eradication of poverty, climate change, and peace and harmony. And as all our panelists emphasized, that if we are talking about that, it is because the forthcoming state elections, according to all the panelists, this is nothing but to underscore this very, very important meeting. Yes, we are very sure that after this meeting, the ripples will be there in the North India, all over the world, because Mr. Modi is known as a hardcore Hindu, and if he is meeting a hardcore Christian, definitely it will give a signal that India welcomes all religions with an open embrace, and they want that all religions here should work together to develop this country and in turn the world. And like Father Robbie has mentioned very clearly, and because he himself is preaching and he's a true Christian, and he says that no such type of meeting, if it would have been, it is not that warm, which we have seen in this particular meeting, that how the meeting has been extended for more than 40-45 minutes because only that they were talking warmly. And this shows a very, very positive sign that India as a global guru meeting a religious guru is going to give the benefit for the very, very long term because of the religious harmony. Thank you very much. And today's program has been live telecasted by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV India, News Gaon se, Samvad Sarokar News, Bharat Post News, as well as it was shown live on Facebook and YouTube. And our endeavor to bring to you every day a new topic, and the topic tomorrow for the media conference with Lal Goel at 10:30 a.m. because tomorrow is the World Science Day for Peace and Development. So our topic is World Science Day for Peace and Development, and we have two chief guests. One is Professor Dr. R. Gopal, is the director and head of the department, D.Y. Patil University, New Mumbai, and another is Mr. P.K. Srivastav. He is the former general manager of Indian Railways, Government of India, along with 5 youth guests, and we will be talking about the World Science Day for Peace and Development. So please tune in tomorrow for media conference Lal Goel at 10:30 a.m. Thank you very much, Dr. C.V. Anand Bose. Thank you very much, Father Robbie. And thank you very much, Mr. PKD Nambiar, for giving your very, very thoughtful, meaningful views, so that the myth which is going on and the rumors which are going on the WhatsApp University can rest. And I am sure our viewers are now very clear that this meeting is going to open a new chapter in the field of communal harmony, religious harmony, as well as for the development of the country. And definitely it is a very big step when the Pope will come to India, that we will be becoming one more step for the global guru or the leader. Thank you very much. And thank you all the viewers for watching our show. Thank you very much.